canning purposes, you need a few things to start. You need a big pot that the jars will fit in and completely be underwater when you put them in. You need the jars, and I've already pre-washed mine, so it's nice and clean.
So you have to pre-wash them.
Yes, you want them to be clean and warm if possible, but not necessary. And then you have your top, your lid, and then you have your ring, which screws this on. So you want those clean too. So we're going to put this pot on the stove so it can start getting hot, because we want to put the jar in here to can it afterwards.
So it needs to boil?
Yes, you have to boil it for about 15 minutes once you put it in here. Now in the meantime, I have another pot here with water in it that I'm bringing to a boil, and we're going to be putting the tomatoes in there because we're going to want to get the skins off of the tomatoes. And then I need a couple other items here. We're going to fill one bowl with some ice and cold water so that when the tomatoes come out of the hot water bath, they can immediately go into the ice bath and cool down, because we don't want them to continue cooking. We want them to stop cooking. We have ice, we're going to add some cold water. Okay, and this pot should just about be ready. Put it on just a little while ago. This is our handy dandy jar picker-upper. I'll show you how to use that in a little bit. So in the meantime, we're going to get these tomatoes ready. We're going to put them in the water. We're going to put a little X, cut a little X on the bottom. That allows the water to get underneath the skin to make it easier to peel. And then we're just going to put them into the hot water here. And any size is good. As you can see, I've got some smaller ones, and I've got a couple of bigger ones. And we're going to just put them all in here and let them warm up for a while, so that the skins will come off. So now the tomatoes have been in here, and the skins, you can see, are starting to come off a little bit. See how they're loosening up? We're going to put them into the cold water, and that's going to make them stop cooking so that we can handle them, because they're going to be pretty hot when they come out first. So this will help cool them down. And we'll take all of these out for now. Now we're going to take the tomatoes out, and we're going to take the skins off of them and put them in the jar. So we're going to just kind of peel them off, because we don't want it. We don't want this little piece here. And we're going to throw it in the jar. Sometimes they have little marks, little brown marks running down the top. You want to cut those off too, because you really don't want to eat those brown things. They don't hurt the tomato, but they don't taste all that good either. I find it easier to cut them in half because it makes it easier to hold, and they don't jump out of my hands that way. I can really hold on to them. Get all these skins off, because, I mean, we eat them when they're raw, but when you start cooking with them, you don't want all these skins on there. They just don't taste good in tomato sauce or chili or anything that you might use canned tomatoes for. You can even put them in like a roast when you're roasting some beef or something, like in a crock pot or on the stove. You can put some of these tomatoes in there to help flavor it. As we get close to the top, we want to run our knife in, because we want to get out all the air that was filling up this jar too. And we're going to keep putting the tomatoes in until they're like, I can maybe get this one in, we'll see. We'll cut it up into smaller pieces so we can put them in. Well, I think that's about it. I'm not going to do much more. Okay, so you can see we're full up to almost the top, but not quite. So now the last thing we want to do before we put the lid in is we want to put in a teaspoon of salt. That kind of acts like a preservative and it keeps it clear. We just want to put that across the top. That's it. Now we're going to wipe off the top because we don't want anything on the top. We want the seal to come in and seal it really good. So we put the seal on and then the ring. And we're going to tighten them really good. Okay? Now we're going to bring them over here and we're going to put them in this pot where the water is boiling. So we're going to take our handy dandy jar thing and we're going to gently lower it into the water. But see, it's not covered, so we have to make sure that there's enough water that it covers the whole lid. See, it has to be completely covered. Now we're going to set the timer and it's going to sit in there and boil gently for 15 minutes. Okay? Oh, one thing I didn't show you. Forgot to show you. Okay, when you put the lid on, see how it moves? You can hear it moving and see it moving. We don't want that to happen when it comes out. The water and everything will cause it to suck it in and close it. Lid on. Water. Surprise.
Oh, so you keep a lid on it for 15 minutes?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, and you'll hear it rattling around a little bit. So when you hear it start rattling, you want to lower your temperature so it rattles very, very gently. If it rattles too loud, it'll break. So you want to be careful and you want to listen. And when it starts rattling, you want to turn the temperature down. Yeah, see, I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear it. So I'm going to turn it down so that it's just very gently, and it's going to stay that way now because that'll keep the temperature, and we're going to do it for 15 minutes and then we'll take it out. So now our 15 minutes is up. We're going to take it out. I'm going to reach in and pull it out. And it's better if we put it on something rather than just on the table. Okay, now right now you see it's still not all the way down, but as it cools, it's going to seal. And then it's going to look like this one. And see, there's nothing. It doesn't push down, it's totally sealed. But look how pretty they look when they're done. When you use all different kinds of tomatoes, all the different colors, they look really pretty in the jars. And they'll keep in the jars once they're sealed for years. You know, but obviously when you go to get them out of your cabinet or wherever you're storing them, which it should be someplace fairly cool, but not cold, you want to check. And if this is still bubbly, if it's pokey down, you're going to end up throwing it away because you want to make sure that you're not eating stuff that's rotten. And it has to look like this when you go to open it. And this one's sealing already, it's not moving. So, yeah. So that's how you can.